Hello there folks, how are you doing? Today we're going to have another tutorial whereby we're going to look at how to implement Laravel multiple authentication using Jetstream, Fortify and Livewire. I know it has been a while since I've posted another video, but hey, here we are again. So I'm going to do this tutorial in this particular video, and I did a tutorial on how to install I did a tutorial on how to implement multiple authentication using Jetstream only. So I did that tutorial. You may want to check it in the video above or in the description link below this video. So today we're going to look at how to implement it using Fortify, Livewire, and we're going to install a package of Jetstream whereby we're going to use the Jetstream default authentication, and with the Livewire and the Fortify we're going to implement a multiple authentication. So let's get started. So the first thing I want us to do is just open your terminal. So I'm using VS Code, so you may want to use the same, or you may just look for an editor of your choice. Let me go to Git bash here and let me just start. So what we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is that we're going to install a new Laravel. You're going to have a new Laravel installation framework, and then we're also going to install it together with Jetstream, which will install Fortify and Livewire. So let me just quickly navigate to my htdocs. So alright guys, so let's get started. So what I want us to do, the first thing I want us to do is that let's install a copy of Laravel together with the Jetstream package, which in turn will install the Laravel Fortify and the Livewire. So let's get started. So the first thing is that I'm already in my folder F, XAMPP and htdocs. So here is where basically I have my application. I have all my projects that I use within my Laravel and as well PHP. So what we are going to do here is that we are going to have this command which is going to install for us the Laravel in this particular folder, and then it will also install Jetstream. So I have these two dash signs and then Jet. Jet stands for the Jetstream package that we want to install. So let me just hit enter and it will start installing the Laravel with Jetstream. Now the first thing it will ask you is that which Jetstream stack do you prefer. So I will go with 0 because I want Livewire, and then with the application use Teams I'll put no. Let's continue. All right, and then from there to start installing your Laravel together with Jetstream. So this will just take a minute or so. So let's just wait for it. So now this application is ready and we are ready to go. But before we do that, so here we have installed Livewire, Jetstream and Fortify, all of them in one using that command. So now here, before we continue further, before we run our application and migrate any tables, now we need to run this last commands. So here I'm going to have this particular command here. So we are going to have npm install and npm run development so that they can compile our assets and any other necessary file within our application. So let me just hit this enter, and then it's going to install this particular that is going to install our npm modules and so forth. All right, so I'll come back when it is done. So guys, I just had to open the application, that is the Laravel multi-demo, because the npm install was bringing some errors. So what you need to do, if you find there are some errors when you're trying to run these two commands, just go ahead and open your application and then run the two commands so that your node modules can now be installed in your application, just like that. So let me come back when it is done. Alright guys, so now when you see it's giving you this particular error, that is unable to resolve dependency tree. That means it has the node package, that is the npm, has some dependency issues, and what you may want to do here is that run this command. If you get this error, it is rarely you will get it. This one depends on how I've installed my node. That is how I've installed my node in my application. So just run this command, npm install save legacy ps, and so that it will resolve the dependency tree within the node package, just like that. And I think you are good to go. But just notice the last step you need to do so that you can compile your assets within your Laravel application. Okay, so we are good to go. So the dependency issue has been solved in my application. So these are the node modules that have been installed within my application. Alright, so now that is the last thing. So what now we need to do here, I need to migrate the tables, but before I do that, I need to create a database within my .env. So here, just open your .env and just connect to a database. So far, it's already, the name of the application here is already within this database. So I'll just use the same. Likewise, the rest are okay. So the auth, the username, and the password is just empty. So here, just come to your XAMPP, to your phpMyAdmin if you are using it, and then just create your database like this. So here, I'll just paste that one and hit create. Alright, so the database has been created. So what I need to do here, I just need to issue this command, php artisan migrate. Okay, and then I'll just be, so to now migrate all the tables that are within defaultly within the application before we create any other tables and so forth. Alright, so that is okay. So the last thing is php artisan serve, and then now we can run our application in our local environment here. Right. So we are good to go. So this is our application. So it is installed well. So now let's start implementing the multiple authentication within this application. Alright, so now in step 2, or that was step 1, that is we have now installed our application. So now in the next step, we are going to have the admin table and migration. So we start by creating the admin controller. So the admin controller is the one that is going to sorry about that. It is the one that is going to handle all the functionalities for our admin side. Just like we have, for example, the way we have the controller for the user, that is the default authentication for the user when you install your application newly. So let's just start by creating a controller. So here I'll just start by creating a controller using this. So php artisan make controller. So here we are going to make controller admin controller. So that is it. So we're going to create an admin controller. So let me just hit enter. So that will now create a controller within our application here, that is in our HTTP, and then controllers. So we have that controller created. So now the next thing, I want to create a model and an admin table. So just like the way we have the user table, which has the defaultly for users, we are going to also create an admin. So I want you also to do this. I want you to type this command, php artisan make php artisan make model, and then here it is admin with the, now the dash m means that we are going to create also a migration table for admins, that is the admins table. So when I hit enter, it will also create the admins table. So when I hit Control P, so I can open the table for admins, which we have now created here. Alright, so now here what we're going to do here is that we're going to copy the contents of the user table to admins table, since we are creating a similar authentication for admin. So you should have something like this. So let's go to users and locate that table there. So within the user here, we are going to look for the table. So this is the table for the users. So what we're going to do, we are just going to copy some of the fields. So here we already have the ID and the timestamp. So I'm going to copy up to there. So we are going to have the similar things within our admin. So here I'll just paste like that, and then we are good to go. So now here we have an admins table, and we have it just like that. So let me just save that. So now once you are done with that, as well, copy the contents of the user.php model to admin model. So we also, since now we have copied the table, we also need to have the model to behave similar. So let me open the user model. So what we have here in the user model, we are also going to copy in the admin model. So let me hit Control A, then copy. So here we are going to also have Control A and then paste. So I've pasted what was in the user model. So here I'll change this to admin. That is now for admin. So this now is going to reflect for admin. So here we are done. So there is nothing else we need to do with that. So good. So you're good to go there. So now the next step here is that before we go to the next step, we are going to migrate this particular table we have just created. So since we have created the admins table, so let's just hit the command for migrating. So I'm going to migrate the particular table we have just created. All right, so we are good to go. So when you go to your database here, which we have created here, let's just check. So you can see here we have now an admins table, as well we also have for users table, just like that. All right, so now let's continue to the next step. Now the next step is to seed our admins data. So here we'll create an admin table. So here we'll create an admin factory that will help us to seed our data into the admins table. So what I'm referring here is that now when you go to the database here, go to factories, we have a user factory. Now this user factory is the one that has some of the It is the one that helps us to supply any particular table that we have created with fake data so that you may test your application. So basically what we're going to do here, we are going to also create another factory, but it's going to be for admin factory here. So now for us to do that, run this command, php artisan make factory. So here the name of the factory is going to be admin factory, just like that, and hit enter. So that is going to create our admin factory. All right, so after that, copy the items from the user factory.php. So now go to this one and then change the first two fields. So just copy the what we have already here. So we already have something. Now when you create the admin factory, it creates this particular structure here, this particular code. It has these lines of code. So within the user, so let's come here under the return. There's the user factory here. We also have some other contents, but we are not interested with that. So okay, so now what we need to do here, let's first start by copying this. So within the return here, so let's just copy this. Sorry, it is here. So we'll copy this like that. So just like that, and then now basically what you need to do, let me remove that one. So we are going to change this one. So the first one, this one, we are going to change it to admin. So this one is going to have admin, just like that, and then it should have the strings. That is should be a string, and then here I'm going to have a particular email that I'm going to use for admin. So here I'm going to have something like admin. Let me just start with the quotations, then admin at admin.com. So we are going to have that one just like that. Now for password here, since this one is just generated, I'm going to have something like password 1, 2, 3, just like that. So this is what you're going to have within the admin. So this one will be the admin, the email, and then the password. Then there's something here you do not need to forget to use. Now remember, here we are using string token random. So this is a particular class within the string random, which generates the remember token. So what you need to do here, just go back to user factory and then copy the use support. Sorry, this one. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. So copy this one and then paste it just above here. So let me just give a space there. Okay, so this one will enable there's no error for the string random. Okay, so lastly go to CDAS and then the database. So here within the database, here we have the CDAS, we have the factories, and then the CDAS here. So here, since we have created the admin factory, we always have to register the particular factory that we have created, so that once we call the CDA class, it's going to see the data for us. So here, let me remove the comment sign. So since we already have for the user at seeded, so here I'm going to change this one to admin, like that, admin factory create, so that it will call the admin model we created earlier and seed our admin table. So now run this command since this one is good to go. So you just need now to run the command. Now before you do that, here we are not going to use the 10, so let's just leave that one empty and then just have the admin factory and then the create. So here I'm going to run the PHP artisan, that is migrate, and then 2 sign and then the seed. So now this one is going to migrate, it's going to seed, sorry, here we are not saved, so it's going to migrate, it's going to see the data, that is the admin stable data we already have here. So this one should change. All right, so remember we made an admin factory, we changed this one to admin, the email, we provided a password, and then what else did we do? And then now we registered the factory here. All right, so now let's hit this one, enter, just like that, and all should be well. Okay, so now we have just seeded our admin, so let's reload this again and see. Okay, now since we are done with this one, but there's now an issue here. The password is appearing on a plain text, which should not be the case. So what we need to do here is that I need to add something here. Within this one, let me try something called bycrypt. Now what this one is going to do is going to enable, is going to generate the hash text, so that we do not have the particular password displayed the way you have just seen. So here, so we're going to use bycrypt. Now this one should be this way, so should be y here, so like that. So this one is going to generate for us the hash text of our password, so it doesn't appear on a plain text. So what you're going to do for us to see this, let me just delete this one again, like that, and then let me run that again so that we can have what we want. So that is it. Okay, so now we are good to go. So the password has now been hidden in such a manner. All right, so guys, we're good to go there. So now let's go to the next step. Now the next step is that we are going to create guards for admins. So typically what we have here is that we already have the guards for admin, for the users, so we're also going to create the guards for admin. So I want you to locate this file in the auth.php. So just go to, so locate for auth.php, which is under the config. All right, so here default guards is for the web, like that. So I want us to add for admin. Sorry guys, this is not it, should not be there, should be, sorry about that, it should be here. This is where we are going to have it. So we are going to generate it from here, like that. So I'm going to change this one to admin, like that. We are going to have for admins, like that. So that is it. So for admins, and then also go for the providers, the users providers. So within the users providers, we're also going to copy and paste likewise. So I'm going to copy this one like this, and then just create for the admin. So we are going to have it like that. So the driver here. Now this one we are going to change it to admin so that you can call the admin class within our model. So that is it for the providers. And then likewise for the passwords, since we're also going to need a password reset and so forth, so we're also going to copy this one, and then just below there I'll just create for admin. So it is just easy. We are just changing to admin, that is we are now creating for admin. So we have just done for the password, and for confirmation that one is okay. So this one is done. This one is also done. So for admins we have just created like that, and then for the guards we have added for admin. So that is it. So let me just save. So once that is done, now the next thing you need to do is that so now once that is done, you can close the file, since there's nothing else we need to do here. So now the next thing I want you to do is open a controller called authenticated session controller.php. Now this controller manages the guards, that is the login and the logout session for your app. So currently we are using the web guard, so I want us to update it to use the main guard too. So now let's open authenticated session controller, that is located within the vendor Laravel Fortify source HTTP controllers. So now open this particular file. Now this one is the one that has the guards, the web guard defaultly for your application. So now for example, you find that if I want to know which guard I'm using here, I may do this command. For example, let me do a dd of this particular guard, so with a $sign there, and then I have something like should be something like this. Guard. Hope guard is spelling. I think guard. Okay. So defaultly this is the guard for your application. So this is the web guard. So once we save, let's hit save, and let me come here. Let me run the PHP sub. Okay. So let me just run that command. Let's go back to application. Now let's try to log in here, and let's see something here. You can now see what are we seeing here. You can see this is the illuminate out session guard, and then it is showing you the session guard here. We are is the web. So defaultly this is the web guard that we are using for application, that is for login and login out, and then it shows you the other particular functionalities that are used. You can also expand here to check more on it, like the session. This is the session established, the ID, and so forth. So now this is enabled by use of this dd command I've just given here. So let me just remove that, and let me just save again. So now this is the web guard that we're using for your application. So what I want us to do is now is go to this file called the Fortify. So locate for Fortify service provider. I want you to go to this file, Fortify service provider, and register the following classes. So now what this particular file does is that it also has the two-factor authentication for your application. You can see here, for example, we have the login ID for your application. We also have some other interesting stuff like reset user password, update user password. So this Fortify is the one that controls such functionalities for your application. Now what I want you to do here is go to, let me see, this is recording. Okay, so now go to your function register. Now within the function register here, I want you register these following classes here. So the first one is that I want you to register this class here. I want you to register this app and say something like when. So I'll just explain it in a minute. So when admin controller, so we have, sorry, this is admin controller into class, and then attempt, so attempt to authenticate, so attempt to authenticate, then this also a class, and then attempt to authenticate. So here we're also going to have redirect, so redirect if two-factor authentication, two-factor authenticable, like this, and then, so remember these are classes, and I'm going to show you where I am taking them from. And then here let's end with a let's end it with a colon there, and then the brackets. So now this is what you need to have in this. So here, this app when admin controller class attempt to authenticate class, and then redirect if two-factor authenticable, hope is correct, then class, and then so forth. So what we're going to do here, we are registering the controller, the admin controller or application that we created. Then I'm going to use this particular attempt to authenticate. Now when you run your when you type authentic, that is when you run okay, so let me just do this quickly. So let me just copy that, and then let me put it here. Now you can see this is the class. So now this is the class within the vendor Laravel Fortify source. Now we want this class. That is, we want this class because it has the guard, as well it has the handler for our application, and then remember it has the Fortify guard. In other words, it has whereby you are able to fill your username and your password, so forth. So that's why we are registered in these classes here, so that it can work with our admin controller and then be able to authenticate and redirect if necessary. So now you need to register that within the Fortify service provider. So the next step, you also need to update the same function with stateful guard from admin authenticated session controller PHP, and then return the guard for admin like this. Now basically what you need to do here, we need now to add, that is let's go to something here we refer to as stateful guard. Where is it? Yes, this is the one. So stateful guard has the login using ID and logout and so forth. So now this one is for the admin, it's for the user. So it is created for the user only, but we want to use also for our admin. So what I'm going to do here within the Fortify service provider, I'm going to add another class here. That is, I'm going to add the stateful guard class so that it can also be used. All right. So now this is what we are going to do there. So here within this one, we should have, let me remove this one, and then here we should have something like needs need stateful guard, like that. So this is the class, and then here we are going to say give, going to be a function like that. So we have a function like that. Let me remove this one. I have an opening, and then return. So here we are going to return the auth guard. So this guard, I'm kind of misspelling this guard mostly, but it's okay. So admin. So we are returning the guard for admin. So what we want here, we want the guard for admin. Here I need to have a brackets there, and then close. I think we are good to go. Let me save and see. Okay, there is an issue here with the, so need stateful guard class give. So we are having give there, then an opening. Okay, so we need to have this one closed like that, and then let me save again. So what we are doing here, we are returning an auth guard for admin. So that is what we are registering within the Fortify, so that you can also return another guard for admin. Remember, within the auth.php, we registered admin guard. So basically, this is what we are doing. So you just need to understand up to there. Don't fret much about it. Just need to understand we are creating a guard and returning it. We are registering the admin controller, and then we are returning the guard for admin. All right. Now, since we are using the above classes, you need to use the following lines of code. That is, now you need to copy the following from authenticated session controller.php to service to service, that is to Fortify service provider class. Okay, now since we have registered, that is the admin controller class, remember, attempt to authenticate class, and redirect if two-factor authenticable class. Now we need also to use we need to import them, that is, we need to import them here so that they can be used within this application. So let me just copy them quickly, and we are good to go. Okay guys, so now this is what I just copied from my cheat sheet. So this is, so paste that one here. Let me give a space so that you can understand. So remember, I've used this class. Remember, I've also used this class, and we also need the stateful guard. Remember, I've also used it, and then admin controller. Remember, I've also used it. So copy them and paste them here. You can just copy them, as you can just pause the video and type them there. In other words, they are calling these classes. You can see them here, the ones I've just used, so that they can be used within our application. So we are good to go there. Now, so once that is done, I want to create a stateful guard for admin, just like we have for user. So go to this folder here. That is within the app. So within the app here, create a folder. Hope I'm going to spell this. Okay, guard, like that. So create a folder there, call it guards, like that. Now within this one, I want you to create another stateful guard, but this one now is going to be for admin. So admin stateful guard, like that. So admin stateful guard.php. So create it like that. Okay, so hope we are good. Now we have created another guard. So let me close the ones I'm not really using. So we have created another stateful guard for admin. Now remember, this one is for the user. So what we're going to do here, copy what is in the stateful guard here and paste it here like that. So once that is done, you're just going to change some few things like the namespace and the interface. Now this interface, let's just quickly change it to admin like that, and then the namespace here, we want it to read the one we have just created, the app and the guards. So here we're going to change it like this. So here we're going to have app, and then here we're going to have guards like that. So that is how we're going to have it. Just make sure the spelling and everything is okay. So we have changed that one, we have changed this one like that, and there's nothing else we need to change. So just have it like that. So that is already done. So we are done. So now we know that we have a guard for our admin. As well, we also have the default one for user. So you can close that one. And let's now go to the next step. Now the next step here was what we should do here is that we start by copying the contents of the authenticated session controller to admin controller and edit some. So what we're going to do here in the next step, we are going to start by copying the contents of the authenticated session controller to admin controller and edit some things. Now remember, this file is the one that I had opened and I had done the DD, and you saw some of things like this. So now let's go back to this file again. So what we're going to do here, this authenticated session controller is the one for the default user. It's the one that comes with the Laravel for the default user. So we also want to have our admin controller who also use some of the functionalities that is for the controller for admin. So remember, it is empty. So what you need to do here is that come here, Control A, Control Copy, and then what you're going to do here is that you can see there are some things here I want us to change. Okay, so okay, let me see. Okay, I don't want us to interfere with the namespace, and as well I think the request should be the same. Okay, so let me just copy it from there. Let me paste it. So here we are going to do some few changes. This PHP should not be there, so let me take that one out. Sorry, now this namespace, we are not going to use it since now we are using another namespace. Remember, the namespace is just the path within which your application controller, for example, can be located. So the request, we are going to use that one. Remember, this one was admin controller, is not. So this one should be admin controller. So admin controller extends the controller. So that is what we're going to use. All right. So just ensure the namespace is correct, and then change this one to admin controller extends controller, and all right. So you can save that one. So you're good to go. Okay, so we have two types of requests. So let me take that one out. And let me just, okay. So let me save that one. So we are good to go there. So that is done there. We shall come back to it to edit some few things, but just know that is the, now we are now having another session controller for our admin. Now let's go to the web routes. Let's go to the web routes. That is to the routes and then the web.php. Now here, remember here, whenever we sign into our application, for example, now if I click login, I click login there. Okay, manifest does not exist. Did you forget to run this? Okay, so there is something we did here. I forgot to run the npm run dev. Okay, so this, we are supposed to do this one at the start of the tutorial, but let me quickly do it. So let me quickly do it. So this one should be npm run dev, since we already installed the node modules. Okay, so this one should take a minute. So we are good to go, guys. So it has compiled the Laravel mix and all that. So let me just run php artisan serve. Okay, so I was explaining, now we were in the web routes, and so now this is the route that takes us to the dashboard, which is the default dashboard for our application. So now when you go to this one, so let me just take it back again. So I think I do not have anyone registered here, so let's just okay, so let me just go to register. Let me just quickly register somebody. Okay, so yes, Brian. Brian at gmail.com, and then let me just give a password, and here let me just give a password. Okay, so that is good. So now you can see, now this is what we have defaultly. So we have this one as our normal dashboard for application, with I myself being the one who is currently logged in within this application. So what we are going to do here, we want now to create another dashboard similar like this, but for the admin. So that is what we refer to as multi-authentication, and this is what I'm trying to achieve. So that is what we're going to do. Okay, so this particular route is the one that takes us to this particular dashboard. So here I'm going to add some other routes that is going to take us to, that is going to be for admin, and as well for, that is, we're going to have one for admin and the one for web. Now, since I do not want really to type all this stuff, so let me just copy and paste this code here, guys, for you, so that we can also save time. So guys, so I've just copied and I will just paste here, and then I will explain everything to you. So what you need to do is just follow up, and then now you're good to go. So what I've done here, or what I created here, is that I have the admin controller class with a method of login form, and then here I have two particular, that is the get and the post. So here we're going to get the /login for admin, which will present us with the login form, and then post is going to store the contents of the admin, that is the login credentials for the admin, that is the admin name, the password, like that. And then here what we have in is, we have into middleware, route middleware. So we have in the first one, which is the admin, which takes us to the admin dashboard, and then we also have for the web, which takes us to the web. So this one, what it does, it just takes us to this particular dashboard that we are currently logged in. So this is what happens within here. So just copy them and have them like that. So just know this one is for the admin, this one is for the web, that is for the default. This is the default one that I just showed you earlier. And then this route group is just to establish the admin controller class, so that it can log you into the application. Now here we are going to make a method for login form within the admin controller, so that you may understand it more. Now, since we are using admin controller class, and this is Laravel 8, we are also going to have something like this. So we'll have something like use. So we'll have something like this. since this is Laravel head, use HTTP controllers admin class so that it can call this particular class and establish. So make sure you have it at the top of your application. So we are done with the web route, and there's nothing else you're going to do here. So I may just close that one. And then now the next thing we are the next thing we are going to do after this, create a guard in the admin controller.php. So now let's go back to the admin controller.php. Now within the function construct here, just below the function construct here, we are going to create a guard for admin. Remember this one is the default. Remember we did the DD and we saw it was for the web. So here I'm going to create a guard for the admin. So this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have a public function here. So this public function is going to be for the login form, like that. And then, so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to return the view for auth. I'll explain in just a second. I know you may be confused there. So this one is a string. So here I'm going to return auth.log, and then the guard here. Okay, I keep misspelling this guard. I don't know why. So this is the guard. It is a string like this. Okay, so this is a string, and then here we are having something like that, and then this is also a string. So typically we are just returning the guard for admin, likewise, like the way we are also returning the guard for the just like the way we are returning the guard for admin, that is for the user. So we are also returning the guard for admin, just like this. So just make sure this is done like this, and then you can save that. Now this login form method is the one I showed you within the, let's go back to that file we had just closed. You can see here admin controller class and then the login form. So this route is going to go to the admin controller class, and then it's going to look for this method here, which is the login form. So within the admin controller, it's going to supply it, and then it's going to return the auth.log, and then the guard that is for admin. Remember we already created a guard for admin. So that is what it is doing within that particular part of the code. So now, since that is done, the next thing I want us to do is that since we want to return the login blade like the default one we have for user, so now go to login blade. So here, so the next thing here we want to do is go for login blade. Now this login blade is the one that returns the form method here. So I want you to come here. So this form method is the one that returns for us the login for this particular login that we normally have. For example, here, let me log out in this application. Hope it's still running. So now this, whenever we go to the login, okay. See, so whenever we go to the /login, it is normally headed by this, which presents for us the particular form so that we can fill our credentials. Now here I also want to return for admin. So basically that is what I want us to do. So we are going to interfere with it a little bit so that it can either return for admin or it can return the default one for user. So I want you to do this within the action here. I want us to check using the iset, the iset, not iset, sorry. I don't know why I keep mentioning it. Iset. So iset. Iset is a PHP. It's a PHP function It's a PHP method, sorry, which is normally used to check if a particular variable is currently set. So here I'm going to have that as guard, like that, and then now this one is checking which guard are we into. Are we into the one for admin, or are we into the one for the user? So here is going to check the guard. So now this is the conditional operator. Remember, conditional operator as the one that we are using so that we can check between two. It is like an if statement. It is checking two statements. If one is this one, it prints that one. If it is the other one, else the other one will print that one. So here we are checking the asset guard, and then we are appending it to the conditional operator, and then the URL, and then here we are going to have something like this. We're going to have the guard. This video is taking time, but it's okay. So this is guard like that, and then we are having that sign there /login, and then we end it with that sign, and then here, since it's a conditional operator, it has to have, let me put it here so that you can see it well. So it is having those two signs, and then the login, and then like that. So we are going to go there. So what is going to do, the isset method is going to check the guard. So the guard is going to be checked within two ways. So the URL here, let me combine that one. So it's going to check the guard for the guard, that is the /login, and then the guard for the then it's going to return the route, and which route is it that we are currently in. So that is what is going to do within that particular part, whether it is admin or the user. Okay, so now the next step we are going to do is to the next step we are going to do is to update, is to copy these two files from the vendor redirect if two-factor authenticated. So let me go to this particular file so that you may see what I mean here. So redirect if two-factor authenticable. This is the file I'm looking for. All right, so this is the file. So it is located within the vendor Laravel Fortify source action redirect. So now this file, we want to copy it to app actions Fortify. Why? Remember, this one defaultly what it does, it redirects us to the particular logged in person. So if he is either an admin or a user. So we are going to come here within the admin, then the actions, and then the Fortify here. So here, remember this Fortify, it doesn't have them, and remember we have created for admin. So what we're going to do here within this particular part of this where we have located it, we are going to copy it. So what I'm going to do here, where is it? So it is the actions and then redirect. Okay, so this is the one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy it like that, and then here within the Fortify, that is within the app actions. So it's this app actions Fortify here. So I'm going to right click and paste that particular. So we are going to paste it like that. So now remember, now we already have it here. As well, I'm also going to copy another one, that is attempt to authenticate. Remember, I used them within the, remember when I was using them within the authenticated session controller. So attempt to authenticate, so this is the one. So it is also found within the same like redirect. So I'm also going to copy it. So copy it and then paste it here. So have it. So yes, so now we have the two of them, this one and this one. So you're going to edit some few things. So what you're going to edit, we are only going to edit the namespace only. So here, for example, here it's only going to have the app / actions, and then sorry, this sign is wrong, should be like that, and then like that, and then we are going to have Fortify like that. Now you can see this is the namespace. You can see this is the namespace. So this is the correct namespace, so that now it can use attempt to authenticate the admin. So that is what we are going to do on that particular file. So now let's also update the other one, which is the redirect if authenticated. So we are also going to change the namespace just like we did for, sorry, it's not this one, so let me close this one. So this is which one is this? Redirect. So attempt to authenticate. So we are also going to copy, so let me just copy this namespace since it's the same thing, and then let me come here. So we are going to have it like this so that it can now use the okay, space. So right, so guys, we are going to go there. So that is the correct namespace. So we are going to use this one so that it will redirect us for the admin, and it will also attempt to authenticate the admin. So ensure you only change the namespace, and we're good to go there. You're good to go there. All right, so now let's go to the next step. I think we are almost done here. So now in this step, what we're going to do is that we'll start by updating the route service provider. So let's go to route service provider and see what is there. Now in the route service provider, there's something you need to take note of. In the route service provider, we only returning the dashboard, which is for the admin. Which is for the user only. Remember, the dashboard we are logged in our application. For example, when I click login, it will only take me to the dashboard for the user. Now we also want to have a dashboard for the admin, and since I'm also using the similar dashboard for the admin, so I'm going to create a function here, public function, static function, and then this static function is going to redirect us to, that is going to have redirect to, so I'm going to give the guard like that. So this is going to be the guard, and then here I'm going to return the guard that I want, that is for the admin. So hope guys you understanding all this stuff. It's just easy, you just need to practice more and you get it. So this is the board. Hope the board is correct, and then it is a string. So let me just that one with those. So now this one is going to return for us the dashboard for the admin. Let me just copy this one in case there may be some spelling issues. So return the guard for admin. So here we are returning for the user, we are returning the guard for admin. So that is it. So we are good to go there. So we can just close. Now before we close it completely, we have to create a middleware. Now before we close that one, we are going to create a middleware. we are going to update a middleware and also create another. We are going to create a middleware and also update the middleware with what we have just created. So we are going to create a middleware and update that middleware with a middleware in which we are also going to return this particular guard. Now, when you go to our middleware here, remember we are doing this thing step by step, so just follow up. So now come here, redirect if authenticated middleware here, open this one. Now you realize this one is returning for us the root service provider, which is this one, right? So what I want us to do, I want us to change it for it to return for us the dashboard that we have created for admin. So copy this one like this, like that, and then come to redirect if authenticated. Now it will not return for us the service provider home, which was the default one, but now it will provide a guard for which, whether it is the admin or the user. So paste that one like that. So remember, we have now changed that one to the one that we have created. So we are going to return, so it's going to check which guard, and then it's going to return the particular guard that we need. So save that one just like that. All right. So now, once that is done, now we can create an admin that redirect if authenticated for admin now. So remember we had created for, remember we only have the one for the default user. So we want now for admin, so that you can redirect for admin. So what you're going to do here, copy this one like this, and then come here, and then you are now going to paste it again. But now this one is going to be for the admin. So hit function F2 so that you can rename it like that. So admin redirect authenticated, and then what you need to do here, remove this copy since it has a copy version of the other one, since they were the same, but now they are no longer the same. So admin redirect authenticated.php. So this is what we have created like this. So remember, it is returning the for the admin. So here update it so that it can have one for admin like that. So that is it. So ensure that is that way, and then I think there is nothing much. So since it is just doing the same thing, so now we have two. Remember, it was using the root service provider for one, but now we have created two. We have created for the normal one for the user, and then now we have for the admin. So there's nothing you're going to change there. It's just going to use the same code for the admin, that is for the admin. Now, since we have created a middleware here, we could have run the command here, but since we just created it like this, we have to register this middleware. So let's go to kernel.php and register this middleware should register it in the protected, that is the root middleware here. So let me register it somewhere here. So copy paste that one. So the middleware we have created is for the admin, and then the title of it is the admin redirected authenticated class, just like that. So we just needed to have it like that, since it is this one we have created. So go ahead and save that one. I think we are done with this. So in case of any error, we shall know, but that is it for the guard. That is for the admin redirected authenticated. Now the next step is to create a login response. Now a login response is the one that enables us to, it is the one that you are currently logged in. That is, whenever you are logged in, there's a login response that is normally created. Now when you go to Control P and you click login response here, you'll realize there's a login response within the vendor. This one. Hope I'm in the right one. That is normally created. Now this one is for the interface. Let me check if there's another one. There should be another one. Yes, this one. Now you can see here there's a login response here, which redirects us to the login. This one here. So now we need to also have another one which redirects us to the admin login. So that we are going to create it here. So we are going to create it here. So go to app, that is app, then go to HTTP. So within app HTTP, we are going to create a folder. So we are going to create a folder and rename it as responses, like that. So let me see if okay, it is okay. And then within the folder, we are now going to create a login response for the admin. So here is like that .php. So that is the login response.php for the admin. So what we are going to do here, we are going to copy the code from the user login response, the one we just opened, this one. So I'm just going to copy because we are going to use a similar code, and then just paste it here. So this is now going to be for the admin. So remember, the namespace has to be different. So here I'm going to change the namespace. So the namespace I'm using here should be app slash should be the backward HTTP and then responses, like that. So this is the namespace that I'm using, and then the other ones are okay. So that is what I'm going to use there, and then here I'm going to change it. Now this one redirects us to the login, which is the default login for the admin. So the intended here, I'm going to change it to something like this. So here I'm going to change it to admin slash dashboard like that. So we are going to have dashboard. This is too many. I think we should only have one. So it's going to be that way. Let me save it. There's no error. So it's going to redirect us to the admin. I hope guys now you're understanding what we are doing here. Hopefully this one is getting easier. So this one is the defaultly one for the user. Now we are having another one here, which is taking us to the admin dashboard. Okay, so now since we have created a login response within this particular function place, now let's go back to the admin controller. There is something we need to save here. Now within the admin controller here, there's something we need to do here. Now within this admin controller, since we have now created the login response within the HTTP, so we need to update it so that it can call those particular classes. Now the other classes, for example, the attempt to authenticate and redirect if authenticated. Now you need to update these ones. you need to update them. Sorry, you need to update their namespaces. There's nothing much you need to do here. And as well, we also need to add. Now you can see, and also this one, you also need to update. So you need to update them. For example, this one is going to use this particular namespace. I've just copied it so that it can now, remember this is the admin controller, sorry. So this is okay, this should be there like that. So now this one I have updated. So this one is updated. So it's updated to use the login response for the one we have just created within the app HTTP, then the login response. I've just updated the namespace. So likewise update the namespace for attempt to authenticate, the one we created within the Fortify, and also the one we created within the redirect two-factor authenticated. So let me just copy this. So guys, so I've updated the namespace, and then this is also updated. So I've updated the login response, redirect two-factor authentication within the Fortify, and then the attempt to authenticate is also updated. So make sure you update them and save that particular file. So hope guys this you have understood what we have been doing. So if you have not understood anything, you can post the question. You can post the question below this video, that is within the description link. And as well, you can also rewind the video to understand some parts you have not understood. And I know that there is some there's somehow it looks somehow complicated at first, but you'll be able to understand it as you implement it. So the best thing I would want you to do is implement it so that you can understand it more better. If you don't get to understand this one more better, I also did another one on same multiple authentication but using only Jetstream. Remember this one you're using Laravel, Livewire, Fortify mostly, and Jetstream as well. So now okay, so now what you need to do is that now go ahead and let's test this application and let's see if there is any problem. So and then we just solve it as we continue. So now let's come to this one. This is the default authentication for the user. Okay, so there's an error within the login bled line 49. So syntax is just a syntax error. So the login bled. So let's go to the login bled. Okay, this is the login bled. So in the line there's an issue of the unexpected identifier login, expecting this. So that is on the line 49. So I think there is an issue with the closing bracket we had not done. So let me just check. So guys, I'm seeing something here. There is I forgot to put another quotation there. So this is, I think this is the error. This is the problem. So let's check it again. Okay, so we are good. Okay, this was the email registered. Okay, let me try it. So now we are logging to the normal the default login page. So let's see if we can get inside. Okay, so we are good with this one. So this is the normal default login for the user, for any user. So let me log out. Let's go to the admin. So let's go to, so you should append it like this. So slash the login like this. Okay, cannot redeclare class app HTTP controllers admin controller because the name is already in use. So that is admin controller PHP in line 117. So let's just check this one quickly. So that is line 117. Oh, sorry, this should not be lightweight. I think there's time we were copying and pasting. I think that's when this came. It was forgotten. So let me reload again. Now you can see now we are taken to admin login in this way. So this is good. So okay, so remember we registered this one admin. So this was the email, and then the password, remember, was the password 123, the one we seeded our table with. So this was password 123. So let's see if this is successful. Okay, class app provide out not found within the Fortify. So this class is for the, just like we have for the I think I saw it somewhere. Let's check within within the login responses. We can't find it. So just know here we need to use an authentication that is within the Fortify. Fortify, where is the Fortify? Okay, that's why I normally like using the control P, because it normally takes me faster to. Okay, so now within here, Fortify service provider, you just need to use this class. There's a class you need to use. You just need to use it within the Fortify service provider, and then you're good to go. Let me just. Okay, guys. So it should be this. This is the class. So this is the class. So illuminate support facades. This one is used for the authentication purposes for your application. So you need to have it within your Fortify service provider. So ensure it is you have it there, and then hit save. And I think this error should be out of our way, unless there is any other error that is in there. Alright, so there's another one that is outguard admin is not defined. Alright, so okay, let me do this. Let me try to. Okay, there's also another one. Attempt to read property headers on string. That is within. Okay, so here we have. Okay, so this one is which middleware is this? So we are going to solve these errors. They just come in. Remember, we did a lot of changes within the. Okay, so this one is okay. I'm trying to locate for this file. So attempt to read property headers on string. So it means there's an error within a particular middleware here, and so forth. Okay. All right, guys. So there's nothing. Actually, there is no error at all. So what it was trying to do, since I was already logged in with admin and there was an error, so it was saying attempt to read head on string. So what I did is that I just had to delete the admin table fields, and then run the PHP artisan migrate seed, and then it came back again well. So what you need to do, just go to just go to admin login like this, and then now you can see it is taking us to the admin login, and then let's have the same credentials that we had. So here we are having that one. This is the email, and then the password should be password 123 like that, and then let's log in into the application. All right, so now guys, this is the admin part. So this is the admin, so the admin can log into his dashboard like that, and as well you can log out like this, and then we can go to the normal login for the normal user. So the user, this is Brian, then let me give the password. Okay, so that is the password. Okay, that's the password for the normal users. Alright guys, so we have implemented a multi-authentication. You can see now this is the normal user for using Laravel. I know this video was a bit long, but hope you have understood something. So what I need you to do guys is subscribe to this channel, share this video with your friend, like this video, and comment below. Just share your thoughts and let me hear you on what you have not understood as well. So let's meet in the next tutorial. All right.